Hear ye, announcing the arrival of His Royal Majesty King Hoshi.
No.
What is up, historians and loyal ranters? It is my pleasure to announce that Crimson Vow Spoiler festivities have begun, and we shall partake in these new mechanics and glorious cards coming up henceforth on this week's majestic and spooky episode of Rant. But first, I am Lord Hoshi, first of his name, protector of the historic realm, and king of Rant. And...
Wrong.
And, as always, I'm joined by a man who was once part of a grotesque hybrid experiment that went terribly wrong. Arcane magics were used to combine a human baby with a bobblehead figurine. Flesh, bone, and plastic were all bound together, resulting in the unholy creation we call DrunkenDork.
What's up, everyone? Yeah, cool. You forgot to include in yours the, I don't know about the king of the podcast, but definitely the Duke of Dookie is for sure. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Yeah, I don't know what that, I'm an amalgamation of just a whole bunch of hideous things.
And then that turned into, some kind of, what is it, root beer man? I guess you are.
I'm root beer soda guy. Yeah. Anyone who's seen Adventure Time, very obscure. I know. My wife wanted to do this. She's like, oh, I want to be this cherry cream soda. So she also looks ridiculous. We both look ridiculous. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and for all of our listeners out there, we dressed up for the podcast. So I haven't quite completely lost my mind yet. I am dressed up as a king tonight. So
no, you've absolutely lost.
I mean, no, I said not completely. Don't worry. When it fully goes, you'll fucking know it's gonna be bad. And that brings us to the ghost of Rant. Long ago, we lost our co-host, Apollo, to a horrible and sad accident. The coroner called it, let's see, how do you pronounce this? Autoerotic asphyxiation. And the worst case, apparently, that they've ever seen. They said it was very sad and plain gross to be.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, to be honest,
terrifying to look at. Really, very appropriate because it's Halloween. Just like, a real horror.
It is. He really went to town on himself. And recently his spirit has begun sending us video clips, and we might get one of those on the show tonight.
Oh, really?
Spoiler alert, we're not actually.
Oh, okay.
We tried to, but the ghost of Apollo sent in a video clip with no file extension on it. So
yeah, no. I mean, I thought maybe the ghost of Apollo would be smarter than actual Apollo, but it turns out they're just both fucking idiots. So. Love you, Apollo.
Yeah, it's all right, bro. We'll get you on next time. All right. Anyways, welcome back to the show, and thank you for joining us. We are the Dorks, and you are listening to the Rant podcast, where a couple of idiots like us, we talk about everything in Magic the Gathering, but we mainly focus on the historic format, which is our favorite format, and we are actually the longest consistently running historic podcast out there. So,
yeah.
Good for us. Our show segments move through the actual phases of Magic the Gathering, with the main phases being our main show topics. And so tonight that's going to be the spoilers and mechanics and everything. So there'll be a full breakdown of the episode in the description, and let's just jump straight into the show with the Upkeep phase, or the Untap phase. Sorry, I know how Magic works.
Do you?
Shh, people are listening. And Untap is where we untap some drinks to start off the show. And Drunken or root beer float or whatever the hell you're called. What are you drinking?
Root beer soda guy. I keep looking at myself. I look absolutely ridiculous. I know I do. I got this stupid straw in my head. And anyway, so dangerous. And I got the kegerator back here. Back to the kegerator. I got a keg of it's called Coco Jones, which is one of my favorite beers. Yeah. And it's just a coconut porter. And it's so fucking good. And I've been drinking it way too much. So that's what I got tonight. It's gonna be a good night.
I really like porters. Like at first, they get kind of flat real quick. That's the only thing that I don't like about them. But they always have like some of the best flavors, I feel like. Yeah, so for me, I have a blood drink. Look at this thing, man. Man. Inspired by the all the vampires in Crimson Vow, I'm drinking it's a strawberry bourbon smash right now, and it's great. So it's got like the first sip is like notes of gasoline, and then followed by like yummy strawberries afterwards. So
that sounds disgusting. That doesn't sound like anything I want to be drinking. So wait, I got a quick question for you, Hoshi. This costume you're wearing, is this what you're wearing all weekend throughout Halloween?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god, you're such a fucking nerd. I love you, dude. Love you. All right.
But my dog Ghost, he has a little knight costume, so he's my little protector,
Oh, nice. Oh, so yeah, our dogs are 3 dogs because we're psychos.
Yeah.
They all have banana costumes because part of the show is banana guards. If you've ever seen Adventure Time, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I haven't. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Well, yeah, it's fun dressing up the dogs. Like people love dogs way more than humans, and I feel the same way. So
they're like, get the fuck out of the way, you nerd. Let me see your dog.
He's so cute. Oh my god. All right. Well, with that, cheers everybody. Happy Halloween, and let's get right into our untap phase. Upkeep, get ya upkeep. Upkeep, man, there are 2 U-words. What is going on with me tonight? All right, anyways, our upkeep phase is our Reddit rant phase. And Reddit rant is where we look to the internet for people, just bitching about Magic the Gathering. No big whoops, happens every day online. So let's take a look and see who we got this week. And we're going back to Facebook again because that's where some of the best rants generally come from. And this week, we got Eric Fox. And Eric is, he's pretty pissed about just people taking their time. So here we go. Okay, I know that All Runs is a big flavor, though after facing about 50 to 75 of this deck, I can play your hand blind with pretty decent accuracy. So why does it take you so effing long to choose what to do? Really? It only plays one way. This isn't a handful, it is every single one of them. I play best of 3, so I see the game clock, and even though I'm playing aggro, the time gap should be over 10 minutes. If the deck is that hard to figure out what to do, then go to the play function and play test there till you know it cold. Pick up the pace. Stop dragging matches out. This guy's so pissed. It isn't like I don't expect the return target memory deluge or the other little cards. Oh, and the foretold all runs. Oh, I never expected that, especially when I see blue, red. Fuck this shit. End of this fucking rant. Drunken, what do you think of Eric Fox? What's going on?
Well, first, before I get to this, sorry, real quick, I want to do a shout out to Apollo, bro. He's on the chat. Oh. What is up? The ghost of Mana Rant's past.
Yeah.
So this guy, man, I just, I get him, man. I have been playing some real slow matches. I don't play standard. And that's exactly what this person's talking about. I think that there's like 3 decks in Standard right now, and this is one of the 3. It sounds like a fucking shit show, man. It sounds terrible. I don't want to be there ever. But yeah, I get it. Like, it's like playing Jun Sack, right? Playing against that deck is just, it's the opposite of a delight, you know? You're just sitting there waiting for them to click. There, it always gets to the timer, you know, every single time you play against that deck. The timer always starts at one point.
Absolutely.
So I feel you, Eric Fox. Now, you know, maybe don't immediately go from your game loss. Oh, my headphones just fell off. Fucking straw man is getting in the way. From your game loss to the internet, but I feel your pain.
Yeah, this is quite a rant. I totally feel him with the Junsack thing. It's one of the main things that keeps me out of best of 3. Like, I want to get into best of 3, but it's one of the top decks in there. And I seriously hate playing that deck. I've been playing it more, going against it more and more in best of 1 as well. And I really fucking hate running into it because it's the same thing as this. Like, so I don't know what the all runs like play pattern is, but that Jun deck has so many different like fucking things that they can do that like the people that play that deck, their brains can't handle it. They take forever on their turns, and then when they actually start doing stuff, that takes for fucking ever too. And it's like, yeah, I feel the same way. I'm just sitting there in my chair spinning around being like, would you fucking go?
Yeah, I walk away and I come back. Yeah. Like, that's what I do. I just walk away, come back. Hopefully, and like, I'm not trying to time them out. Like, this isn't me admitting that I time people out, because I almost never do that.
Yeah.
But it's just like, sometimes I'll see the triggers that they're going to do, like on my turn, it's like the cat, then fucking do this, then that. And it's like so many. I'm like, okay, well, I got to take a pee anyway. So I'm going to walk away, go take a pee, go grab a beer. Then I'll come back. And then like 90% of the time, they're still fucking resolving triggers. I'm like, oh my God.
So one of the reasons I picked this one too, because there was quite a few rants this week that were pretty good, was it made me think about something that was, you know, how angry you could be with somebody like playing on the client because you can't see them. You know, you don't know if they're thinking or if they're fucking like picking their ass or something, you know, while they're playing. Like, when you're at the like LGS, you're sitting there looking at the guy, right? So like you can tell like he's trying to like think about stuff and do things, and I don't know. I feel like maybe
you're sitting there looking at him and smelling him.
Yeah, definitely smelling him. But at the same time, you could see that they're like, you know, they're trying or doing something. You don't get any of that on the client, so you're just staring at fucking nothing when they're not doing anything, you know. And you're like, is anyone even there? Is he taking a shit right now? Like, what is going on? Like, I have no idea. And that it makes it feel like so much more empty and frustrating. And I almost wonder like if they could add a feature into the game where you can actually like see your opponent, you know, make it a little bit more like an LGS, or would that be a fucking nightmare? Would that? Yeah,
that would be really bad. Yeah,
would it? Like maybe you could turn it on or off, you know, like except to like, you know, be able to talk to each other during the match or something. I know they would probably never do that. Yeah, but I think it would.
Could you imagine like turning on the camera and seeing this right here? Oh my God,
that would be horrifying. Yeah, it's hard enough to look at you.
I think I'd probably just get more wins that way. You know, like the camera goes on, they're like, oh, I can't do this. I can't play a solid 5 minutes against this.
I mean, you could probably like have a function to turn it off in case you pop up in there or something, you know.
Yeah,
but you know,
okay,
yeah. I don't know. I just thought that, you know, because like I felt like I was way more sympathetic to people like when I was actually playing in the store than I am playing on Arena. Like the second I start playing against Junsack or somebody goes to rope, I'm just like, fucking here we go. Here we go again. All right. So yeah, I just thought this one was pretty good because I feel you, Eric Fox, a little bit here. Anyways, anything else for this one, Drunken?
No, let's move on.
Sweet. All right. And with that, we'll move into our draw phase. Let's draw. And draw is where we go over news or what we've been playing this week. And so the news is basically what we're going to be talking about. So let's just talk about what we've been playing. What do you got there, Drunken?
Okay. So yeah, if you queue up my gameplay here, yesterday or this morning on my weekly stream, I did the Midweek Madness, and it was really fun. It was historic Brawl, and it was these pre-constructed decks. And every single one of the decks was actually really cool and well made, which isn't normal. I feel like, usually those pre-constructed decks are really underpowered, I feel like, and
sometimes
boring and slow. But like, as you can see, like I'm playing vampires right now, really, and like cool. It's just going off, and yeah, it was a blast. It was a really fun thing, and I played every single deck. At the end, I evaluated it. I mean, I'm not a fucking MTG pro or anything. I do play Magic a lot, but so like my evaluation means absolutely nothing. But at the end, like I evaluated them all and I thought they were all really fun. And even the ones I didn't think I was going to like the green blue one and or Simic, I should say, and the Boros one, I didn't think I was going to like those two. Both of them were a blast. I don't know. I thought it was cool. And I think the decks are actually probably better constructed than something I could do. But then again, I have gone through and tried to make these 100-card Brawl decks, and like the moment I see how deep the card pool is, or the lack of the depth, it immediately like underwhelms me. So I'm like, this is boring, and then like I lose enthusiasm immediately. So I like this. I might like try and pull these decks off of the internet and just like put them in my deck queue so I can play Brawl, because I thought they were all really fun. And then besides that, I'm still on the Big Red bandwagon. I've been going like I've been fucking on a real high on my computer when I play. Nice. It shows my my win percentage, and I'm at like a 73% win percentage with Big Red right now on my computer. That's not accurate for all the games played, because I've been playing a lot on my phone recently at work. When that's mostly how I've been playing. But still, that's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, no, it's a great deck. I love it. I started playing it again too. I was on like a real weenie kick this last week where, I was playing that White Weenies deck last week against you. And then I made a Orzhov version of it, which was like a lot of fun. And it was doing really well for a while, and then like I was right about to get to Diamond. Like I was getting a lot of wins with it. I don't know what happened, man. I got to that last win before Diamond, and I couldn't get. It was like the final boss of like a level or something, Every time I got to that last one before I got to like rank up to the next thing, it was like the hardest opponent I've ever gone against,
I totally know your pain. Yeah.
They all went first, and they all had like just, awesome hands. And it was like, that's fine. Like, I get it, like that happens a lot in Arena. Like you play somebody and they just have like smoking hands or whatever. But it was every time, specifically when I got to that one win, It was ridiculous. And then I switched to Big Red, and then I got it. There, because
it's that happens to me all the time, and like there has been points where I've gotten all the way to the end of a ranking and then went all the way back down to the beginning. Like that has literally happened to me, where I'm at the last boss, the final boss. I'm about to hit Mythic, or I'm about to hit Diamond, and then all of a sudden, like I lose and I lose and I lose, and I'll lose. Like I've lost like 10 straight games in a row before.
Oh yeah,
and,
me too.
It sucks. That feels really shitty. So I totally get your pain. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, and the crazy, and even the one that I won with Big Red, it was such an insane game. It still felt like a boss fight, where like which is great. I love games like that. And I wish I really like had more games like that. When you're playing, because like both of us like we're just having good games. So I love that, especially with like I feel like I was about to add to that like shuffler like bitch that we talked about the other week, because last week I had a couple games where like I got like 12 lands in a row, like to 6 non-land cards. That happened like quite a few times to me. I know it's a variant that can happen, but man, when it happens to you, you're just like, this sucks. Like this is so bad. It makes me want to go to the internet and scream about it.
Speak it. Yeah. No, I get it, dude. It is so frustrating. I think I probably the first game I played yesterday when I was doing this midweek madness thing, I got like I think 8 lands in a row.
Yeah,
I drew 8 lands in a row, and I obviously lost the game. You can't win a game drawing 8 lands in a row.
No,
it's just impossible.
Yeah,
unless your opponent is also drawing 8 lands in a row.
Oh yeah,
or drawing no lands in a row. Like that would be the only scenario.
Yep.
Yeah, but that I feel you.
So speaking about this historic brawl, I wanted to talk about this because we were like on the brawl hype train for so long, and then we got it, and then it's like we haven't been playing it, and I think one of the reasons that we were doing it is because like we were playing each other brawl all the time, and it was a lot of fun, and now like the 100 card thing came out, and we can't play each other 100 cards, right? You can only play each other 60 card brawl. Which means like
I mentioned that in my stream.
So I deleted all my 60 card brawl decks because I thought that 100 card brawl was just what it was now. So I lost a ton of decks that I had built like before that I'd spent a lot of time building, and then I can't play the 100 card ones now. So like I still have like a couple 60 ones, but it sucks. Like I don't like. Yeah, I just wish they were like a little more transparent on what they were doing with that, I guess, because like. It's a fun format for us to play against each other.
I agree.
Yeah. Anyways, so Apollo also, he sent in a video, but he doesn't know how to do that. So it didn't work. He did in his defense. He did get a new phone, and he doesn't know how that phone works apparently, or how it does videos.
Definitely
or
a boomer.
Yeah,
he's definitely the person that takes selfies. Like all the time on accident, when he's trying to take pictures or something.
But so I guess he's been playing the squirrel combo, the infinite squirrel combo, like life gain combo thing, which is a cool. Have you played that one, Drunken?
I really don't like that deck, but yes, I have played it, and I've played against it a few times.
Me too.
And it's a cool deck. I totally get why he likes it.
They've done some additions to it too. They've added a couple combos to it where they put in the vampire guy that where you can do the infinite combo with that, and then they did the other one where you put the enchantment on where you can tap the person to make a scroll token too. So they've added a couple things to give you like 3 different ways of going infinite like with combos, which is really cool, and then you can pull it off pretty well. I feel you. I played it a little while, and I felt like I had some awesome games with it where I just destroyed people, and then there were other times where like they just picked off my pieces, like, and I get kind of tired of combo decks like that kind of quickly, I guess. So but it is super cool, and apparently he's been having a lot of fun with it, and he's been getting like turn 3 wins and stuff, he was saying. And then he was saying something.
I've seen it. Yeah, it's doable. You need the nuts draw, right? It's like goblins, right? You can win on turn 3 with goblins, but you need that nuts draw.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty consistent deck for the most part, though.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. He's really hype on it, apparently. And then he was saying other stuff too. And do you remember what he was saying?
So the video I watched, it was mostly talking about his likes for the new set. So I think we'll talk about it later.
That was the other video that he sent. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well. That's all we remember what Apollo said. Also he had a not deep V on. So I would like to.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. I'm pretty sure it's because he didn't want us making fun of him again. But I was trying to find something. He actually didn't even really show too much of his torso at all. So I'm assuming he just got explosive fat, and he just really doesn't want to show it off.
That's what I was thinking.
Probably has. Yeah. He probably has quadruple chin. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, he had that sweet Goku hat, so he was trying to really show that off.
Yeah, he was trying to distract us with that. But it doesn't work though, dude.
Yeah, but either way, I would still just like to thank him for showing restraint this week, and his video did pass the sniff test where we could have showed it, like it wouldn't have gotten flagged for like pornography by by YouTube or anybody. So good job, Apollo. I'm proud of you this week. All right, anything else before we go into main phase?
No, I'm gonna pour myself a beer. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Main phase 1.
All right, and this is main phase 1, our main show topic of tonight, or the first one anyways. And tonight we're talking about the Crimson Vow that just came out. And so they released a bunch of cards, and on those cards were some pretty cool stuff, and mainly the new mechanics and returning mechanics that we're getting. So in main phase 1 tonight, we are going to get into these mechanics. So here we go. We have an article from Wizards themselves where they are explaining the mechanics. And the first one that we got here is called Training. So Drunken, what do you think about training? Can you explain what it is? And
so training says whenever this creature attacks with another creature with greater power, put a +1/+1 counter on the creature, or on this creature. So basically, we've had things like this before. What was that mechanic we got out of
Guilds of Ravnica?
Yeah, Guilds of Ravnica. I can't think
that was
of
called
it.
Mentor.
Mentor, yeah.
This is the opposite of that.
Yeah, it's the opposite of that. I think it's really cool. I think it works well with that mechanic we just got out of the other Innistrad set, where it's looking at different creatures' power levels. So I think it works well with that, because what they did with that set is they had a lot of creatures with different power levels coming in. And I think this accompanies that well. It's cool. We're going to talk about a card with training later. We could talk about this one real quick if you want. The Apprentice Sharpshooter. It's real basic.
It's pretty shit. So we'll just talk about it.
But yeah, I like it. I don't think it's going to be game changing whatsoever. No. But it seems cool for like human based, like hate bear style decks, depending on what we get.
Yeah, and then they it seems like already they were doing something kind of better than what they did with Mentor with it, and it's one of the cards that I want to talk about later. So we'll get into that when we. The
one thing I will say though, I've only seen training on green and white. So is it only going to be to green and white?
I don't know. It seems like they do that with mechanics where sometimes they'll splash like it into one color, like for like one or two cards, but it'll mainly focus on a couple of them. So yeah, it'll probably like Mentor mainly focused on Boros last time. So maybe this
was only Boros. It was only white and red.
So maybe this will only focus on Selesnya. Yeah. Cool. Okay, and then the next one we got is Cleave. And Cleave is interesting. So Cleave is it's basically just like an add-on casting cost. Okay, so you can either cast the card for its normal spell cost. So I guess we could just talk about Dig Up right here, which is this is one of the cards that we're going to talk about anyways. And this is the only one that we have so far spoiled with Cleave. It's a sorcery, and then it's a 1 mana green spell. And it says, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. And then they did something interesting with this mechanic, which is you can cast it for its cleave cost. Okay, and its cleave cost is significantly more. So it's 1 colorless, 2 black, and a green. And if you cast it for that, it says that you may remove these words from that last statement. And those words are basic land and reveal it. So what that means is basically that turns this into Grim Tutor. So you could search your library for a card, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. All right, turns it into, you don't have to reveal it. Very cool. I think this is a super cool mechanic. I like the word thing that they're doing where they're erasing words from the, because you're cleaving the words out of the actual statement. And and it's got duality to the card, right? Like, what was it? Mastermind's Acquisition is one of the other ones that we have, but that's all that does, right? So I think this is a pretty good replacement for that card, because this can also grab you a basic land if you're mana screwed or something. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think I actually really like this mechanic. I'm interested. They've only showed one card off so far, right? With Cleave, and it's this one.
Yep.
And so, yeah, this card is cool. I don't particularly like it for our format, but I do think it is a cool card. And I'm very interested where they go with this. It really works with like, I think it's actually a little complicated.
Yeah.
It's not, and it is at the same time. Like, I think someone new to Magic may be reading this and be like, what the fuck? Like, this is like weird. And like understand it it incorrectly. But thankfully, because of MTGA, doesn't matter how you understand it, because they're going to tell you straight up, no, it does not work that way, you know, because it'll never work the way that you intend it to work unless you intend it to work the right way. I don't know. Overall, I think it's a really cool mechanic.
I think so too. I like it. And I think specifically this card is going to be really good in like control weird combo decks, right? That are trying to slow you down. They want mana in the early amount of game to like ramp up and do like big things. And then this helps them like grab that big thing out of their deck. So I am sure you will see this in some janky combo decks that I will probably be playing at some point.
Yeah. So Apollo brought up a really good point. He said it's kind of like the overload mechanic, right? Where you replace like something with every like each.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like that. Where instead you're removing words. Yeah, that is a really good comparison.
Yeah, it is. Except this one's removing multiple words, where overload was usually like one word that it like replaced.
Yeah, it's just one word.
Yeah, which made
replace something for each.
Yeah, which overload made it easier to understand because of that, right? Because it was just one. This one's taking out multiple words, so you're like, oh, I'm playing like some weird what is it?
Grammar game.
Yeah, exactly. I forget what they call those things. All right, let's move on to the next mechanic. And this one is blood tokens. So what is blood tokens?
So a blood token is a new kind of token, and I actually really like this. And it says 1 colorless mana, tap, discard a card, sacrifice this artifact, which is the blood token itself.
Yeah.
And draw a card. So basically now what's happening, this is like clues or treasures. We have creatures or enchantments or spells. Just any spell can make these tokens if they're able to. And these tokens are just like a draw card, you know, and a sack outlet and a discard outlet, which is like 3 incredible things for certain kinds of decks. So depending on, you know, what they attach these blood tokens to, like how you're creating them, I think there's a pretty high potential in this token type, especially when it comes to our format. Because if you play best of 3, Jund Sack is one of the best decks you can play in that format.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a better way to like a better card to put in there than a blood token, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that you mentioned the Jund Sack, because you mentioned all those other tokens, but what this most reminds me of is food tokens, right? Because there's a lot of other tokens out there, like you said, like Investigate and stuff, and those are cool, but those are usually just used for their actual, like the token themselves, where I think like we saw a huge change when they went to food, where food had a lot of mechanics built around the food tokens actually themselves. And I think this is the same thing, but it's like mainly focused on vampires. Can
you imagine like you create one of these and you tap it, sack it, discard, you play a madness card out of it. So you discard a madness card. This is just, you know, magical Christmas land, but it's doable in our format.
There are madness
discard a madness card.
Yeah.
Play the madness card, draw a card, get a sack, you know, trigger. Like, what would be going on there? There's so much value in that right there. It's I like, it's wild to me.
Yeah, it's funny you said that, because like I was thinking Jund Sack definitely when I saw these, which is awful because we already mentioned that it's one of our most hated decks to play against. Yeah. But I mean, but I mean, you have to like respect the full like the magic power of those decks, you know. Yeah. And I totally like this mechanic. I think is going to be very good. I think I agree. Like, right, Jund Sack has stayed around since food tokens have been out, and I think this mechanic is going to be one that we're going to be seeing for a long time. depending on the cards, right, that they build in around it. Hopefully they don't make a stupid cat oven thing with this.
Yeah. Oh my God. They probably will.
Please,
it's gonna happen.
Please, Wizards, don't do that. Don't do it to me.
Yeah. No, it'll happen.
I will hunger strike until you.
Oh well, I mean, you'll finally be skinny then.
That's true. That'd be good, actually. Hey, then do it. All right, and then next we have a returning mechanic, which is going to be Daybound / Nightbound from the last set. Daybound, Nightbound was the werewolf mechanic that we had. It was also attached to like other random weird cards in there too. Also, like some non-werewolves got it. What do you think, Drunken, about Daybound and Nightbound coming back in this set?
I think it's great. I think the fact that they're just printing more werewolves is a good thing, because like you and I, we both really like themed tribal decks.
Yeah.
And the more werewolves we have, the better. You know, it builds the potential of having like a really good werewolf tribal deck and even historic, you know?
Yeah, you had a pretty decent one going, and I think it's just like missing a couple good werewolf cards. So hopefully we get a couple more werewolf cards to make that a competitive deck in the format. Because we have a bunch of other cool stuff like Collected Company and all these other things that can enable like that kind of deck to be, to shine if they give us some good stuff. So yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that werewolves are coming back. So all right, well, let's see what else we got here. So day and night, and then we have Disturb again. So what do you think about Disturb coming back?
I think this is one of the best things we got out of the last set. I think Disturb is an incredibly good mechanic, and it's so close to being like way too powerful. Like all they need to do is put it on the wrong creature, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or the right creature, depending on how you're looking at it. If you haven't seen me play, I have a Reanimator deck, which I forgot to mention. I meant to mention this last week. That Esper Reanimator got really popular over the past few weeks. Not my gameplay video, but just like I've noticed a lot of people have been putting out gameplay videos about Esper Reanimator, and it's almost like 1 for 1. The deck I made all the way back in the beginning of the set. So I'm gonna pat myself on the back right there, because people are finally starting to catch on. I think Disturb's great though. I'm excited to see it come back. I want to see him put on some cool cards.
Yeah, I think this is great, and I'm kind of like with you where I'm like, this could be super powerful, but I kind of want it to be pushed a little bit more. I'm like, I don't play any Disturbed cards in any of the decks that I have because they're just like, they're not quite strong enough. But you're right. They're at that level where like, because you get so much value out of these cards where they have to be careful on how much power they give these cards, because they give it like too much, right? And then just boom, it's a it's a banned card.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, it's cool. It's coming back, and we already saw a pretty strong one coming out with it. And then we have Exploit, and Exploit apparently is a returning mechanic from Magic. It's from an older set, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what set it came from, but it is new to Arena, as far as I know. I haven't seen. Maybe we got something in an anthology with Exploit, but I don't think we do. And so
I don't think we have it yet. Yeah. And it's from Dragons of Tarkir.
Oh, okay. Got it. So Exploit originally is when it's an ETB. So it's an enter the battlefield effect. So it says Exploit. When this creature enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature. So it's a may trigger. And so if you sacrifice a trigger or like a creature, then you get the Exploit trigger, whatever it is. And on this card they're showing us, it says when Rottide, whatever that name is, exploits a creature, each opponent sacrifices a creature. So so it's a ETB that then triggers a unique ability to each card that it has. What do you think about Exploit?
I really like Exploit. Once again, I hate going back to it, but Junsack, this is a perfect deck for it, because it is a sack trigger, right? And it hits itself. You don't need another creature on the battlefield, so you can cast a creature, then it exploits, and then you get that trigger. Like one of the more famous cards that had Exploit is Sidisi, Undead Vizier, which is 3 black for a zombie Naga, and it has Death Touch, and it has Exploit. It says when Sidisi Undead Vizier exploits a creature, you may search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. So it's basically a tutor.
Wow. That's insane.
So the problem with these cards is they don't go into exile. Mm-hmm. So if you're able to reanimate them, like you can use them infinitely. You know?
Yeah.
And depending on what they put on the exploit trigger, these cards can be really, really powerful. So I like this a lot. I'm excited to see this come into our format. I hope they print some cool, interesting stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And I mean, stack triggers are crazy, and they can definitely be exploited, I think, in a lot of ways. And I think we're getting some new cards that are going to be able to take advantage of this and make sacrifice probably even stronger, unfortunately. And and that's it for the new mechanics that we're getting. So any last words about any of these mechanics before we move on?
No, I'm really excited. I think all the mechanics look cool. Some of them not as exciting as others, but I think overall it looks very perfect to the theme of this set, which is very good.
Yeah, I like it. I like the mechanics. I think they're great. I mean, I'm not overly excited about any of them, but I really like the blood one. And with that, let's move into our combat phase.
Dorkish combat.
And our combat is the horseshit card game hosted by DrunkenDork. So take it away.
What is up, everyone? This is the horseshit card game. This is a game where I name 5 magic cards. 4 of them are from... do the numbers here. 4 of them are from our beloved historic format. 1 of them isn't, and it's up to this drunken idiot over here to figure out which one of those cards is not from our format. And of course, all you other people out there. I'm not going to call anyone idiots anymore because I really like I've shown live on the interwebs, I am the true idiot because I can't even pick the right cards. So it's really like, who knows, like I'm doing this and then like in the middle of it, Hoshi might be like, oh wait, I'm pretty sure I recognize all these cards. I'll be like, oh fuck, man, I did it again. Anyway, so I went with a theme.
Mm-hmm.
It's Halloween.
Okay, good. I like it.
It's also Crimson Vow.
Okay.
Spoiler day. So I chose vampires.
Okay.
And I know, Hoshi, you like vampires, right?
I love vampires. Yeah, they're great. Yeah, they're fun. Okay. They're a fun tribal, for sure.
You think you could confidently get this one?
Maybe. I don't know. Like, what did you get? You got me with elves, and I like elves a lot, too. So you never know. There's a lot of vampires, just like there's a lot of elves. So there's a good chance that you could trick me with this.
Yeah, well, one can only hope. All right. Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
Okay, so the first one's going to be Blood Tithe Collector. It is 4 and a black for a creature vampire noble, and it has flying, and says when Blood Tithe Collector enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, each opponent discards a card, and it is a 3/4.
Okay.
The next one is Blood Glutton. It is 4 and a black for a creature vampire with lifelink, and it is a 4/3.
Okay.
The third one is Blood Throne Vampire. It is 1 and a black for a creature vampire, and it says sacrifice a creature. Blood Throne Vampire gets +2/+2 until end of turn, and it is a 1/1.
Okay.
The fourth one is Vampire Revenant. It is 3 and a black for a creature vampire spirit with flying, and it is a 3/1.
Okay.
And then finally, we have Indulgent Aristocrat, and it is 1 black mana for a creature vampire with lifelink, and it says 2 colorless mana. Sacrifice a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on each vampire you control.
Wow. Okay. Man, this is a toughie. Now, the Blood Tithe Collector, that one I am pretty sure of. Okay.
Okay. And that's funny you say that because Apollo voted on that one, so we'll see who's right.
Okay. And then the Blood Glutton, that doesn't ring any bells. The Bloodthrone Vampire, I think I might have seen this one, but with different art. So I'm not sure if it was a reprint or whatnot. But I do remember like kind of a sexy vampire like that because, you know. And then the Vampire Reverend, no bells are ringing there. And then the Indulgent Aristocrat. Now that is a pretty spicy card right there. I've never seen it before. And it seems real strong. For what it is for a 1-drop. I like my 1-drops, so I'm gonna go with Indulgent Aristocrat because I've never seen that, and I think I would.
Indulgent Aristocrat.
Yeah. I think I'm going with that.
Okay.
Final answer.
All right. Final answer. So Apollo chose Blood Tithe. You chose Indulgent. I was hoping Jordan would throw one up there, but he did not. So someone is right here.
Okay, that's good.
Well, not really. I'm right. I mean, I won because you two are fucking idiots because you did not get it this week. All right.
So you get nothing. You lose.
No. What?
Good day, sir.
Really?
I thought you liked vampires.
I do
Apollo,
like
vampires. He says vampires is I think his favorite tribe. You should know this, dude. So the one that does not belong here is Bloodthrone Vampire.
Okay.
It's super common because it was printed in set after set after set, but it hasn't been printed since Arena has started. At least not in any set that's legal in Arena. Yeah. So that one is not in our format.
Okay. Yeah, because I could tell like that is from Zendikar. Right, and we had a Zendikar set, so that's why, like, at least that art is probably from Zendikar.
Bloodthrone is from, like, dude, this thing's from, like, 2010.
Oh,
this shit is old.
Well, that art, though, it looks like a Zendikar type vampire, right? So I think that's what...
It might be from the original Innistrad, you know? Like, I have no idea.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I think that art really threw me off on that one. Indulgent Aristocrat is in our format, huh? That's pretty cool. That's not.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because that video that I posted, I like won a game with this card.
Oh,
I was
weird.
Like, yeah, I kind of, but you know, I didn't expect you to be able to see that because it's just really quick. It's fast forwarded like 500 times.
Yeah, that's true. I wasn't really paying close attention to it. Man, pretty good, dude. Yeah. Pretty good. You won. I'm proud of you. Yeah, look, you look.
I got one.
So
I got one. I know. I look really dumb.
All right, and you know, once again, what's most important is that you know, Apollo was back for his first time since he left to play the horseshit card game, and he fucking lost. So you know.
Yeah. And then he had an excuse. He said, "Oh, Arena." I don't know what that means, but this is probably just some sad excuse, like, "Oh, I didn't understand what you were saying," but you know, I clearly, I fucking said the rules, so it's whatever, man.
Well, I mean, that was a tough one. Anyways, how'd you guys do out there? Hopefully, you guys did better than me and Apollo, and you didn't let this straw-headed idiot beat you. So, with that, we will move into
you're not wrong.
Main Phase 2.
Main Phase 2.
All right, and so Main Phase 2 is going to be the spoiler cards. So we're just going to take a look at everything that dropped today, and we're going to go over like the ones that really just jump out at us. So let's get straight into it. And the website that we're looking at tonight is going to be MTG Goldfish. They do a pretty good job with their spoilers. So yeah, let's take a look here. All right, Drunken, what jumps out at you? What's the first one?
So yeah, we'll just go in a row here, and the first one I want to shout out to Jordan because he said it on the stream.
Yeah.
Is Savior of Olenbach.
Oh yeah.
Is 1 white for a creature human soldier, and it has training. And we already talked about training. And it says whenever Savior of Olenbach trains, exile up to 1 target creature from the battlefield or creature from a graveyard. When Savior of Olenbach leaves the battlefield, put the exiled cards onto the battlefield under their owner's control. This card is wild.
Yeah, really wild.
I know Hoshi has a lot to say about it. Man, my straw keeps pushing my headphones off. This is embarrassing.
That's what's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's what's embarrassing. Hold on. Okay. That's better. All right, Hoshi, what do you think of this card?
Okay, a lot to say. I love it. The art is fucking sweet too. Like he's like some crazy like shuriken monk dude with like stakes on his legs and stuff. And there's I love it. The one thing I don't like about this card is that it's 3 mana, but it's doing a lot of crazy stuff. So I think the mana cost makes sense for it. If it was 2 mana, it would be so powerful, right? Like I think it would be way too good. So 3 mana is probably the right casting cost for it. It having training and being a 1/2 is good because anything that is like, above 1 or power is going to trigger its training ability if they attack. So that's cool. Now the things that it can exile are crazy because it's basically any creature you can exile with it or any creature in a graveyard. And then when it leaves, they come back to the battlefield. So you can exile creatures in your own graveyard. And then if it leaves those creatures in your graveyard or from, the board, they come back onto the board. So you can exile your own creatures on the board if you're afraid of a board wipe or something. This card's like, so all of that is super crazy, right? But then what was your comment about this thing?
All right, so I'm not a huge fan of it. Don't get me wrong, I do like the card. I think it's cool. I like the abilities. I really like the fact, like you just said, that you could target your own stuff in your graveyard. I wish it was a 1/3. I think they should have done that. They should have made its butt a little bigger.
Yeah.
Just so it could at least block 2/2s, because those are common enough. Also, it's just, this thing isn't really going to start going until turn 4, right? And that's my biggest problem with it. It's really slow. Like you want to see it like hitting hard, or you want to see it like grabbing multiple things, but it's not going till turn 4. It's not getting 2 things till turn 5. So I think it might just be a little too slow for our format, but I don't know shit. So we'll see.
Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say because maybe this is something that you want in the late game to be able to pull stuff out of your graveyard, right? So, it's hard to tell, but it does have that downside of it's being a 3-drop, and we have other pretty good 3-drops that come in and actually deal with stuff. This one does not immediately, just like you say. You have to get through that one turn before it can actually do anything. And then you also have to have something that's stronger than it at the same time to be able to get that training trigger. So that's the other big downside of it, right? Is you have to, if they kill all your other stuff off, right? If this is the only thing you have, it has no way of getting that training trigger, which is one of the main downsides, I think, for this is that, it's dependent on something else to be able to get that. I really think it's crazy powerful, but it definitely has some pretty decent downsides to it at the same time, which makes it a very interesting card that I like. And, I think running 1 or 2 of these in your deck would totally be reasonable in like a, White Humans deck or something. So yeah. All right, cool. What's the next card?
So the next one's going to be Sorin of Mirthless. It is 2 black for a legendary planeswalker. Sorin says, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal the top card of it. Let me get a little closer here. Look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card and put it into your hand. If you do, you lose life equal to its mana value. Its -2 is create a what is that card called?
It's not Vampire Nighthawk.
Vampire Nighthawk.
It's not. It doesn't have Death Touch.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay. Create a 2/3 black vampire creature token with flying and lifelink. Damn, should have Death Touch.
Yeah. That would have been insane.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
And then its -7 is Sorin the Mirthless deals 13 damage to any target. You gain 13 life. And I'm going to say Sorin more than ever looks like, what's his name from Geralt.
Oh, yeah, he does. In this picture, he does. Yeah, there's a bunch of different arts of him, and he looks like very different in all of them. Yeah, this one, he looks a lot like Geralt. So what do you think about Sorin?
Oh, dude. I think this is really good. I think we're actually going to see it in our format. So there's this card called Bob. That people play in Modern. And this is basically a 4-mana version of that, but and also a Planeswalker version of that, where you get a +1, draw a card off the top of your library. So this is really good in our format because there's a lot of really low CMC decks, right?
Yeah.
Like especially mono black aggro. And I think this will fit in well because you can put it out and either draw a card or create a 2/3 with lifelink, you know, and that mitigates the life loss you'd get from its +1.
Yeah, I like that. I like that he can make a creature that gains him life too. It's the 4-mana stuff. I go back and forth with this one where I'm like, I don't like it. His +1 is okay, I think. But then his -2 is pretty good. A creature with lifelink that can block and protect him. His -7 sucks, I think. that one's been like the least, or the most underwhelming thing that he has is his ultimate is bad. I mean, sure, 13 damage and 13 life is great, but if you're getting him up to 7, I wanted something a little bit better from a 4-mana planeswalker. But at the same,
Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say, I guess the good thing, the difference between this and Bob is this is a May. The +1 is, instead of like you have to draw it and lose life, you may draw it and lose life. So if it's a land, you lose nothing.
Yeah,
and like that helps. I don't know. I'm excited for this.
Okay, cool. All right, and then the werewolf looks pretty cool, I think. Volatile. Oh man.
Volatile
arsonist, yeah, sorry. And then human werewolf, it's menace and haste. It's another mythic, and whenever it attacks, it deals 1 damage to each to one target creature, 1 player, and 1 planeswalker, and that's its daybound version, which is pretty good. And then it's a 4/4 with haste and menace. The downside is it's 5 mana for this thing, which is a lot, I think. And then what its nightbound one is the same thing. It's menace, haste, 5/5, so it only gets 1+, but then it deals 2 damage to like a player, creature, and a planeswalker. So what do you think of the wolf?
To up to each of one. So you do it to So you do it to each.
Yeah.
So 1 creature. Yeah. I think this is cool. I think it's not going to be played in our format though.
Yeah.
So I'm done with it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then we got to talk about Olivia, right? She's like one of the main people on the set. She's on the box, for fuck's sake. So what do you think about Olivia?
Do you want me to read it or?
Yeah, read it.
Okay, Olivia Crimson Bride, a 4 black-red, so 6 mana for a legendary creature vampire noble. Olivia's been in Magic since the original Innistrad, so it's cool. I think they bring her back in every one. She has flying haste. Whenever Olivia Crimson Blade attacks, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped and attacking. It gains when you don't control a legendary vampire, exile this creature, and Olivia herself is a 3/4. I'm not excited for it. The fucking power on this is crazy, but the amount of mana that you have to spend to cast it is also crazy. So unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to be a thing.
I absolutely see this in Reanimator decks though, because like that, it reminds me of that dragon a lot that like pulled spells out of your deck and allowed you to play them. Except you have to have stuff in your graveyard for it. So if there is a vampire Reanimator deck that pops up, I think she'll be played in there. Cool. Yeah. All right. Next, by invitation only, which is a pretty crazy card. I think it's a first board wipe we've got of this set, and it's choose any number between 0 and 13. Each player sacrifices that many creatures, and it is a sorcery at 5 mana. What do you think about this one?
So I think this is cool. This is, I think, our first sacrifice board wipe that we have in our format, which is good. It deals with indestructible creatures, which is, which can be important. Yeah. Not super important in our format though.
No.
So I do like it. It might be a good sideboard option. I think this number 13, this Triskaidekaphobia or whatever the fuck that's called, like
Triskaidekaphobia,
number 13,
yeah,
is kind of weird, but like whatever, it's cool. 0 to 13, it's irrelevant because it's very rare that someone has more than 13 creatures in our format.
Yeah, I think it's cool that it lets you choose, right? So if you had a bunch of tokens or something, right?
That's true.
You could sack like your crap that you have and then just keep your big dude and smash in. So you could even run this in creature decks and use it strategically, which I like that.
Yeah.
I like the flexibility of this wipe, and sacrifice, like you said, is crazy because it gets around a lot of different stuff. Cool. All right, and then we have Sigarda's Summoning, which sucks, I think. What do you think about Sigarda's Summoning?
I don't even think we should talk about it.
Okay, cool. It's not relevant in our format, I don't think. And then we have Thalia, Guardian of Therabrand, which is a reprint that has been needed, I think, because we have had her in our format, but she has been part of a historic anthology, so you had to like just spend wilds to get her, and now people can crack her in normal packs. What do you think about Thalia coming back?
The moment I saw this, it pissed me off. It's great that she's coming back. Yeah. It's great for people to get into historic. But it, like, the moment I saw her pissed me off because it's like, okay, I know when I start cracking packs, I'm probably going to get 4 of these motherfuckers.
Yep.
And like, it's 4 useless cards because I already got 4.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. That sucks. But at the same point, this can help get people into, into our format more. But yeah, it is always annoying. And I think they really did this to help deal with standard, with all runs Epiphany and that kind of stuff. So, bringing it back. I kind of wanted a different Thalia. I was kind of upset that it's a reprint of the same one.
Yeah, I know.
Because that'd be cool. Because she's existed in other forms before. So I thought,
that's true. Yeah.
I thought, hey, maybe we'll get like a new one because we didn't get her in the last one, and then it's the exact same one. So I was kind of disappointed about that. It's cool because it's a great card, but a little disappointed.
Might shake up standard, which would be a great thing.
I think that's why they did that. And I think that's why they just reprinted her. So wedding announcements. Why don't you take that one?
This is a fucking long-winded one, man. All right,
wedding
announcements.
We can skip
2
it.
and a white for. Yeah, let's skip it. I don't think it's exciting for our format. Sure. Are you excited for it?
No, not really. Okay, let's just focus on the ones that we're excited on at this point then, since we're already going a little bit longer. Okay.
I think Overcharge Amalgam might be kind of cool. Nah. So.
Okay.
You mind if I read it real quick?
Sure, yeah, go for it.
Okay, so it's 2 blue for a creature zombie horror. It has flash, flying, exploit. It says when Overcharged Amalgam exploits a creature, counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability, and it is a 3/3. So it does a lot for 4 mana.
Yeah.
And it can exploit itself. But even if you say you exploit a 1/1 or a 2/2, then you have a flying 3/3 for 4 mana, and you countered a triggered ability, activated ability, or just a spell. I think this is actually really good for our format, and it'll be really good in maybe like some type of weird reanimator thing or
Simic Flash.
I don't even know.
Simic Flash, I think.
Yeah, Simic Flash. Yeah, good point. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't see counter target spell. I thought it was only activated abilities and triggered abilities. So yeah, this is super good in that sense then.
Yeah.
4 mana is a lot, but yeah, being able to flash it in. It has flying too, which is pretty good. It's a zombie.
Yeah, that's important.
It's a zombie, which
and it's a 3/3.
Yeah. I don't think that really. fits
4 mana for a 3/3 flyer is already like it's okay, but then having that extra ability just makes this really good. I think.
Well, people already play that. What was it? That elf lizard one that flashes in. What was that one called? I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah, the one colorless green blue one. Yeah. So it's like even more taxing on your mana.
Kind of. Yeah. It's way more taxing on the mana. You don't have to sacrifice a creature, but this one seems like way better than that, except for the fact that you have to sacrifice something. So that's the main downside, I think, about being able to get this. But okay, this is exciting, I think. All right, so the one that I was excited about in this row is Dominating Vampire, which is when Dominating Vampire enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature with mana value less than or equal to the number of vampires you control until the end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until the end of turn. So this plays right into the exploit mechanic that's coming into this set, because you can steal somebody's creature and then use your exploit trigger to kill it, right? If you can cast two things at the same time, or run some other types of sack outlets in your deck or something. So I think this is pretty cool. And the thing that I really like about this is this does not like really just fly right into Jund Sack, because it has to be the amount of vampires that you have to be able to like get something bigger. So I think it's cool. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. It just depends on how good vampires are, and we already do have vampire decks in our format. So I think that this will fit in. I think this will fit in okay. It's just the red is what I don't like about it.
Yeah, that's true. All right, what do you got next?
I wanted to say the one right before it, which was Voldaren Bloodcaster.
Yeah.
There's 1 and a black for a vampire wizard, and it has flying, and says whenever Voldaren Bloodcaster enters, or whenever Voldaren Bloodcaster or another non-token creature you control dies, create a blood token. So we already talked about that. I really like the idea of blood tokens. I think this card already sounds good for a sack deck. And then it says whenever you create a blood token, if you control 5 or more blood tokens, transform Voldaren Bloodcaster. And she is a 2/1. So when she transforms, she's a 3/3. She has flying, and says at the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 target blood token you control becomes a 2/2 black bat creature with flying and haste, in addition to its other types. So it's still a blood token.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think this card is cool. I don't know how great it's going to be, but I think running 1 or 2 in a sack deck, it might be viable, because you're making these tokens, and that is what you want.
It's a 2-drop flyer at 2/1. So, and it's got a bunch of other like weird stuff connected to it. It's not legendary. I think it's good. I think it's a solid vampire that can fit in this deck. What you should be drinking out of the straw in your head.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, big miss on my part.
Yeah, idiot. All right. Let's see what's next. This one looks pretty cool. The Dorothy Vengeful Spirit, which is it's a 2-drop, Azorius. And it's a 4/4 flyer for 2, which is crazy. But if you block or attack with it, you have to sacrifice it. But it has disturb on it. I keep wanting to call that disrupt. It has disturb on it, and the disturb is crazy because it's an enchantment for 3. And you can enchant a creature, and whenever this creature attacks, it creates a 4/4 white spirit creature token with flying that is tapped and attacking, and then you sacrifice it at the end. And then if that creature dies, it goes away.
My God.
What?
No, this card's great.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. This card is really good.
I thought you had like some kind of crazy epiphany or something. I was like,
No, it's just like I'm excited to see this in our format. I think we'll definitely see it in our format.
Yeah.
Blue-white auras is like, why wouldn't you put this in your deck? A 2-mana 4/4 that maybe you'll get 1 attack out of it or 1 block out of it.
Yeah.
But then you get the enchantment for 3. Love it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think it fits into spirits well. It fits into aura as well.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see this card. We'll see it being played. All right, what's the next one you want to talk about?
All right, so I did want to say Grolnok the Omnivore.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a, like a weird, Timmy? No, not Timmy. Johnny card.
Okay.
Where I personally am going to build around it because I like casting shit out of my graveyard.
Yeah.
But it's 2 green and a blue for a legendary creature frog. And it says whenever a frog you control attacks, mill 3 cards. So you yourself mill 3 cards. And it says whenever a permanent card is put into your graveyard from your library, exile it with a croak counter on it. And then it says you may play lands and cast spells from among cards you own in exile with croak counters on them, and it is a 3/3. So this is like a actually really good like odd reanimator card, and I don't know if it's gonna be good, but I'm definitely, me personally, I want to brew around it, and I'm really excited to use it. 4 mana isn't too much to the point where like this is out of the realm of being good.
Well, I look forward to seeing that deck.
Okay, cool.
All right. Voldaren Estate, I think, is fucking sweet, man. It's a land, and it's a tap for colorless mana, for 1 colorless mana. It comes in it comes in untapped, first of all, and then you can pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color, and spend this mana only to cast a vampire spell. Okay, cool. This mana fixing for vampires, so you can maybe run some more like, you know, wild mana variants in your vampire decks. And then the last one is 5 and tap this and create a blood token. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each vampire you control. So, and then it says, it just says what the blood token is. So this could be free. You can tap and make a blood token for free if you have 5 vampires on the field. Yeah. And so this does a lot. I think it's pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is great. Like we already said, vampires are a thing in Historic. They're not great, but maybe, you know, cards like this and cards like a few of the vampires we named before are what put it in tier 1 or 1.5, you know? So I'm super excited to see this.
Having lands that directly support it like that are crazy, right? So I think it's pretty good. And then you like this counter spell, right? The Gaslight Snare?
Yes.
Or Geist.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, let me say this. So Gaslight Snare. Geist Light Snare. It is 2 and a blue for an instant, and it says this spell costs 1 less to cast if you control a spirit. It also costs 1 less to cast if you control an enchantment. And it says counter target spell unless its controller pays 3 colorless mana. So I think that's a mana leak, basically. It's a mana leak for a potential of 1 mana. Now, so I see you making faces over there, Hoshi. What do you think of this card? I just want to see what you have to say first.
I was very excited at first when I saw it, but then there's something about it that I don't like, is that it's not good in the beginning of the game, right? Because you need to have this deck, if you're playing this, it's in a deck that wants to have spirits and it wants to have enchantments. So that one card that we just talked about would be great. If you're playing this in that deck, yeah, it's probably good. But it wants to have a spirit. You need a spirit and an enchantment for it to be 1. Okay, so it's going to take a while for you to get a spirit and an enchantment out. By the time you have that out, your opponent is going to have more mana, and the more time that goes on, the less relevant them being able to pay 3 life to not get their spell countered goes. So I think it gets worse over time, and this spell gets better with time, but it gets also worse over time. So I think it balances itself out in a way and makes it not very good, to the point where we have what is it called? The flying counter that we have, where if you control a flyer, you pay 2 and they have to pay 4 mana for it. I think that's way better than this, in my opinion. So
okay. So yeah, I mean that probably is generally better. So yeah, you're right. That is better. But I really like the idea of having a spirit deck, you know, and I know you really like the idea of having a spirit deck.
I have
and
one.
Spirit
I
decks,
love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think your spirit deck is like different than how, say, modern spirit decks look, where it's more of a tempo style deck.
Yeah.
Now, so I'm going to give you an example. So say turn 1, we put out a, what is it called? Spirit, Ascendant Spirit. Okay. Yeah. Turn 1, we put out Ascendant Spirit. Turn 2, we put out Curious Obsession.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Or that other one. Yeah. Because that is a very likely card to run in this.
That
true. Means on turn 2, we can be countering spells.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, we're saying we're having 2 lands. We have a spirit, and we also have an enchantment, because if you don't have Curious Obsession, you have that other enchantment that draws you cards. Then you have a 1 mana counter spell, which is really good, you know? And it doesn't hit only instants and sorceries or non-creature spells. It hits anything.
Yeah.
So I think the potential on this is really high, depending on what kind of spirits they print, which we already know they have good spirits. And going forward, we're going to have better spirits. So I think it's a good card now, and it's an even better card later.
Okay. I think if you have your turn 1 spirit guy and then you put Curious Obsession on him, you probably won anyways. So I'm still a little unconvinced, but I do see how it would be way better. I think it's just win more at that point, I feel like.
Well, no, it's not, because they can target it and kill it, you know, and then you don't have that guy with a Curious Obsession anymore. Now you have a way to protect it. Yeah. And that's what's important.
I guess. I mean, there's so many counter spells in that deck already. But
yeah.
All right. What else? Let's see. What else do we got here?
We have one more, and it's yours, man. Okay. It's all you.
Yeah. So it's the It's down here. For some weird reason, they only released.
It's all the way at the bottom.
They only released a weird version of this one. Where'd it go? I went past it because it's strange looking.
You passed it.
Oh man.
You passed it.
Yeah. Professional podcasters here. There it is. Yeah, it's a weird looking card. It's only in black and white. It's Tauren's Fist of the Angels. And he is a 3 mana, 1 colorless, and then Selesnya which is green and white, for a legendary creature human cleric at 2/2, and he has training. And this is the training card that I really like, where they're really pushing training here, where he has training for a 2/2. But whenever you cast a creature spell, you create a green and white human soldier creature token with training. So you're making 1/1 tokens that have training on them. So you're making token, like most of the time you get like a 1/1 token, you're like, whatever, I have a 1/1 token. But this thing has training, so it can get bigger over time too. I think this is a pretty sweet card. I don't think it's like, insanely powerful, but I think it could be pretty fun in like human like any human deck, like the human decks that are going around. He could be a fun one to throw in there, especially with other counter producing creatures that we have, like luminous that luminous cleric guy that puts a counter on every turn. Yeah, so I think this could be cool. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is great. I didn't even realize this card was around until you mentioned it. I was like, no, that card sucks, because I just generally assume what Hoshi chooses sucks. But then I read it, and I was like, oh wait, no, this card's great. It's a good like finisher. It's a good way to go wide, which is hard to deal with in historic, as we all know, because of elves, right? Like elves is always a good deck because it goes wide. And not a lot of decks can deal with wide, and I just think this is a great addition to what is that? What's the color combination? Not Azorius.
Selesnya.
Yeah. Selesnya Hate Bears as like a finisher.
Yeah, it's whenever you cast a creature spell too, and like the humans deck is pretty low cost CMC humans, so you could pump out a lot of stuff in one turn with this guy. So yeah, I think he's pretty cool. I think he deserves at least a 1-off or 2-off in a humans deck. So I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but whatever. and I think that was it, unless you had anything else that we skipped over.
No, we were going long, like you said. I'm ready to end this shit.
All right, well, in that case, let's move on to our end step. And
beautiful
end step is where we talk about whatever else we're doing outside of the world of Magic. But you know what? We don't have time for that today. So, hey, why don't you join our Discord? Because we talk about other like nerdy stuff that we do outside of Magic in there. Yeah.
Pokemon Unite's real popular right now in our Discord. You fucking nerds.
I mean, I wish I had time to play it. It sounds fun. Yeah, I never thought about playing it, and then I was like listening to them talk about it. I was like, maybe I should download it. I don't know. So, yeah, we'll see. And with that, let's go into cleanup.
Cleanup.
And cleanup is our social media promo stage. DrunkenDork, take it away this week.
So, if you aren't part of our Discord, like Hoshi already said, join our Discord, please. We have it in our show notes, whether you're watching anything. If you don't watch us on YouTube, we're on YouTube, and we're on every audio source you could possibly think of, iTunes or Apple Podcasts or whatever the fuck it's called, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Music. We're on all that. We stream live every Thursday on Twitch. And yeah, I can't think of anything else. We usually do a post-game thing. It's called Mana Rant Nightcap, but tonight we're not going to be able to do it because Hoshi's too busy doing, I don't know, like the Duke of Dookie shit. So.
You know, my responsibilities are many. And also, if you enjoy our show, we always like a like or whatever your format you're listening to us on, if they have a way of doing that. Or you know what, dislike. Fuck it. You know, if you listen if you listen this long and you hate us, you know, that's weird. But
you got problems. Yeah, that is weird. That's true. That's
super weird. But you know what? You do you. You know, you don't have to listen to me, or do you? Because I am the king of Mana Rant. So
I will say though, if you are part of our Discord, we have a section there where you can give us feedback. You can be like, hey, Hoshi, you're ugly, fix it. And you know, he'll try his best, but it'll never happen.
I am trying, actually. I'm trying very hard, and it's difficult. All right, well, that was social media, and with that, we will move into our Discard phase.
Discard phase. Drink them up, boys.
And it looks like are you pouring yourself a full drink for discard?
No, I realized that we were going in discard, so I did a partial one.
Because discard,
I've already drunk a lot.
People is where we pound the drinks that we've been drinking tonight. Because, you know, it's discard, you get rid of your cards. So we get rid of our brain cells in this one.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I got none left.
Yeah.
As y'all know already.
So I just want to thank all you guys for, hanging out with us and, joining Discord and like telling us like what you think and everything. Yeah. And anyways, happy Halloween, everybody. And I hope to see you here next week on Mana Rant.
Bye, everyone. Cheers. Thanks for watching, like always, or listening. Not happening. Cheers, team. Yeah, cheers, Jordan. Oh, God. Let's do this. Let's see if I can do this. Try and do this.